I'm Washayla Sananda. Thank you for joining me. So I'm going to answer a viewer's question today. This was a comment left on one of my YouTube videos, but I didn't write down who said it. So thank you, whoever you are. The question is, how do you know if you're ascending? So the energy of the planet Earth right now is ripe for ascension because the Earth is ascending. And so naturally, as the people on the earth, we have this wonderful, juicy opportunity to ascend as well. Ascending is raising your frequency, and this can be incrementally in like a tiny little, barely perceptible amount at a time, or this can also show up as really big leaps in your consciousness and awareness and in your frequency. I'm going to address some of the basic things that you'll notice if you're in a personal ascension process. And if you're on a spiritual path, you probably are. And the only way I would say that people absolutely are not ascending at all right now is if you are completely service to self, meaning you're completely narcissistic or just interested in taking care of yourself, and it doesn't matter if you have to cheat, steal, lie, hurt other people. If you're of the consciousness that nobody else matters but me, and you don't care about other people, well, then you're probably not on an ascension path. If you're totally self-oriented, if you care about other people, if you're serving others in any kind of regular way, if you care about kindness and thoughtfulness, if you're compassionate, empathetic, if you care about the world, you are likely on some type of ascension path. So that's the good news, right? There's just a wonderful opportunity spiritually. The guidance, the angelic realms, the ascended realms are all here assisting humanity right now on our ascension path with our individual and collective ascension process. Some of the things you will notice if you're really in your ascension path, you're going to start noticing synchronicities in your life. This will show up as one of the things that's very common is repeating numbers, also called angel numbers. You'll see maybe 1111 often, or a lot of the time. You'll see 222, 333, 444, all of these numbers repeating. Those are considered angel numbers. There are certain numbers that often your personal guidance will use to connect with you. And so you might start to see these number synchronicities often, particularly 1111, which represents the portal. And a portal is open to you to step through into a higher ascended way of living and being and to ascend your energy. That's a good sign, right? Now, a lot of people, a lot of spiritual teachers have sort of like an ascension checklist or the 7 levels of ascension, or, different ways that you can kind of look at this chart and decide where you're at in the ascension process. I don't operate that way. For me, ascension is, I think of it as a spiral. And so while we're ascending, every time we move up in frequency, what is also going to happen is our shadow is going to come up. And what I mean by shadow is the traumas, the repressed negativity, the density that we're holding in our bodies. As we ascend our energy, our frequency, we are going to naturally have the shadow stuff come up to be cleared, because that stuff was there keeping us from being in the next level of our ascension. And so when we level up, it's just natural that the shadow, the density that goes along with being at that new level, that higher light level, it's going to have to come up to be cleared. And we must clear it in order to hold this higher frequency, this ascended way of being. So this is great because now we know we don't need to be judgmental or down on ourselves or anyone else if they're having negativity, density, shadow work come up. It's just part of the process. And it doesn't mean you're at any certain level, because This happens at every level of ascension. It's just that it happens like a new layer. I always call it peeling the layers of the onion. A new layer will show up when you arrive at the next level frequency of your process. And this can be very unique to every individual. So again, I don't use a checklist because we are all so unique that these things are going to happen differently for each person. What tends to be common, however, is more flow, more synchronicity as you're raising your frequency, as you're stepping into an ascended way of being. You're going to naturally attract people and experiences that are a reflection of your energy and a reflection of your inner being. You can tell that you're raising your frequency, that you're ascending your frequency by who and what you're attracting into your world. If you are attracting lovely, beautiful people and relationships, and you notice, your friendships maybe have shifted into suddenly more conscious people are showing up, and some of the people that maybe from your past that were interested in, I don't know, gossip and going to bars and things like that, maybe those people start to fall away from your day-to-day life, and more ascended relationships begin to happen. People that are interested in spiritual concepts, in higher thinking, higher consciousness, people that maybe instead of going and hanging out at bars or seedy places, maybe they prefer to go to spiritual events or theatrical presentations or concerts, or, something a little more evolved. So another thing you'll notice is you will start to resolve your old traumas. So some of the things that maybe used to trigger you and upset you and really just bring you down on a day-to-day basis, those things, as you evolve yourself, it doesn't mean you're ignoring them, but as you resolve them, they're going to be coming up less. And when they come up in your ascension process to be cleared, and you properly clear them, meaning you've done your personal work to resolve those traumas and to integrate and heal, then you're going to find that the same issues don't keep coming up. And even if they do, they no longer upset you. They no longer traumatize you or trigger you, because you've healed that part of yourself and that trauma, and you've released that density and that tension from your body. So you're no longer engaging with that when it shows up energetically, whether it comes through another person or an event or seeing something in the world or on the TV or hearing about something. You're not going to be triggered in the same way when you are healed as you were when you had not resolved and healed that within yourself. So this is a way of ascending, and you're consciously doing that healing work. You're allowing yourself to move up in your energetic expression. And it also means you're moving those densities out of your body. You're healing the patterns, and then you're no longer engaging in the same way that you were before you were healed. The way that you feel and what you're feeling is a huge indicator of where you're at in your ascension process. If you're feeling more now than you used to, if you are feeling expanded states of awareness, if you're feeling more conscious, more focused, more excitement, more joy, more love, more bliss, and even stepping into rapture states, then this means you are ascending. Gratitude is a huge part of this. If you're feeling grateful more often, if you're expressing gratitude, if you're feeling generous and expressing generosity, this is indicative of an ascended way of being. You will notice that oftentimes people in an ascension process will experience tingling, buzzing, vibrations within the physical body and the energy. Also tones, oftentimes in the ear, you'll hear various sounds and tones, sometimes ringing, sometimes buzzing. These are frequency experiences. And I also had someone ask me a question about the buzzing. Somebody wrote that they had been feeling a lot of buzzing, especially at night when they're sleeping. What to do about it? Is this an ascension symptom? The answer probably is yes, energetically. Now, if I don't know if you have a physical condition that goes along with it, this is not medical advice. This is spiritual advice. So if you have a condition where you need to go to the doctor, please don't take this as me telling you, advising you not to, or something like that. But oftentimes buzzing is, or tingling or vibrating, is the body changing frequency. It might be upgrading frequency. I know for myself, a lot of times when I'm working with energy intentionally, my hands will buzz. Sometimes I'll feel other parts of my body that are picking up a frequency or a tingling, buzzing sensation. Breath work certainly will have me feeling that buzzing feeling, that tingly all over. When I'm working in very high states, my whole body will feel from head to toe and around my body. My biofield is also experiencing that in those states. I recently had an Archangel Michael beautiful session with Michael Abramson. And I'll use this as an example. He creates this really high frequency container. Within that experience, my whole body was vibrating, tingling, buzzing from head to toe, and my energy field. And I felt very expanded, open, and receiving so many different guides were coming through. And I was experiencing all these different amazing energies. And so in that type of state, you're in a container, a frequency container. It's very common to feel intense buzzing, vibrating, frequency, whatever you want to call it, this vibration. And so one of the questions was, what can I do about it? The best thing you can do is go meditate and take some deep breaths. Just go be with the experience. And if you can do this, if you're in a place where it's possible, and certainly at night when you're sleeping, if you notice this happening and you become aware of it, then you get to really lean into it. So you notice it, notice that it's happening, and then take some deep breaths, relax yourself, tell yourself this is okay. This is a beautiful experience that I'm having. This is a gift. And lean into it. And what I mean by that, not physically, but energetically, mentally, emotionally, let yourself really, really like be with it and be in it. Let yourself feel it. Let yourself experience it fully. It might be uncomfortable. I realize that. I've certainly had this happen when it was not comfortable, but that discomfort is just, it's sort of a mental perspective. And if you can shift that mental perspective from discomfort or even the possibility of pain, that's just a fearful thought, right? So if you can shift that thought from this is uncomfortable, I'm scared, to wow, this is beautiful. I wonder what's possible. I wonder what can I do with this state? What transformation might I experience from this? And that's what I mean by leaning into it emotionally. Go forward into it, step into that container even more, relax, breathe, expand, open up, allow yourself to be there and go there. That's the exact opposite of the contraction of fear. So fear will have you say, oh no, I don't know what this is. I don't like this. This is scaring me. I don't want this. I'm freaking out, blah, 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 on and on, right? So, and we tend to, fear has us get smaller, back up, shy away, whereas the leaning into it is like, ooh, this is yummy. This is a juicy experience. I want to know more. I want to feel it more. I want to experience more. And we're going to get bigger in it. And we're going to relax and open and enjoy and open the heart and feel it and invite it and just consume it and let it consume you and feel the deliciousness of that, the special, beautiful expansion, opening, the pleasure, the bliss, the rapture even. So if you can get yourself into that acceptance, that gratitude, that appreciation feeling, then you can go even farther in and let it guide you. Let that feeling show you and guide you. For me, oftentimes, I'm very clairvoyant, so the vision opens up. I start to see images. I start to see pictures as I'm feeling this beautiful experience of feeling. I'm seeing my guides oftentimes, or I'm seeing the patterns of energy or the geometries, and I can love and appreciate even more and have gratitude for that, which has me lean in even more. So that is what you can do. And so that was the second question I was answering there, but that's what you can do when you feel that buzzing or tingling experience. And if you start out concerned or upset or just wondering what it is, if you can shift your energy, that's the best time to catch it, is in the beginning. Don't go into fear, but go into allowing and enjoying and relaxing. And, then you mitigate that resistance, because oftentimes the first thing that comes up in a spiritual experience is resistance. And so instead of resistance, you're going into allowing, you're surrendering to what's showing up. And then in that surrender, that's where beautiful expansion is possible. The final thing I wanted to hit on in this conversation is, if you're not feeling, because feeling is so very important in your ascension process, you must have your heart open enough to be able to feel. If you're not feeling, then chances are you've probably had traumatic experiences that shut your heart down. Maybe you've had a broken heart. Maybe you've been deeply disappointed by somebody or by humanity, by your government, by, you name it. Many things can deeply disappoint us. And over time, you might have been a very sensitive, open child. And then maybe you had a childhood or things that happened when you were younger that had you close down and feel not safe. The feeling, especially when we're children, of not feeling safe has us put up walls and boundaries to keep us safe. And that's a natural human protection, right? We do that to protect ourselves. There's nothing wrong with it, except that now, as an adult, when you're wanting to step into your spiritual path and feel more and feel openness and have your heart open to love again and to receive, then we must allow that opening. We must surrender that resistance. We must be able to feel in order to experience the ascension. Feeling truly is the secret. Feeling is so very, very important in this process. And this isn't to judge that only quote unquote good feelings are good and bad feelings are bad, and we don't only want to feel good things. This is the whole experience of feeling, is part of the beauty of being human. So we want to allow ourselves to feel, even if someone breaks our heart or disappoints us, to really allow ourselves to feel that and allow ourselves to process that emotion up and out so that it doesn't get stuck in the body. And then when we feel something good, when we feel joy, when we feel gratitude, when we feel love, to really be open to feeling that and experiencing that, to really let ourselves embody that feeling and really lean into feeling more. And if you want to have a practice around this, just the practice of gratitude is so great. So just the feeling in your heart find something that you're grateful for. What was a time when you felt so grateful? And it might be, for me, it's always, when my children were born, the moment that they're born, there's just great relief, to see that they're healthy, they're well, that birthing process is over. And now I have this new life, which is just beyond amazing to experience. So that's when I felt the most gratitude in my life that I've ever felt. And so hopefully there are things that you can relate to that were really great experiences for you, where you can remember that heart open feeling of gratitude, and then practice that feeling of gratitude. Feel it, rehearse it, let yourself feel that every day in a meditation. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes, and the more often you'll be able to feel it. So it can be, in the beginning, if you're not used to feeling those high emotional states like love and gratitude and bliss and rapture, then it takes something to kind of turn your nervous system or tune your nervous system to be able to feel those states. But once you start to practice, you'll feel it. Every time you practice, you feel a little bit more and a little bit more, until you can just kind of click your fingers and someone can say, feel gratitude, and you can feel gratitude. When I first started this, I didn't have the ability to instantly on command feel gratitude, but now I do, because I've practiced this a lot in my life. And so sometimes when I wake up in the night and maybe there's something there that in the past might have startled me or scared me, or if I heard something or if I had a dream or something that would be upsetting, instead of letting that take me, I allow myself to shift into what am I grateful for, and just move into a state of gratitude, of love, of bliss, of expansion. And when you can do that, and you really have that kind of harness on your emotions and on your feeling, your ability to feel, then you really get good at consciously activating your ascension process. Manifestation becomes more fluid and easier. What you're attracting into your life becomes a reflection of that ascended way of being. So doors start to open, collaboration opportunities start to happen, great people start to show up. Doesn't mean you never have anything negative happen, because that stuff's going to come up too, to challenge you, to be cleared sometimes. But the idea is not to get sucked in by it and not to let it take you down, to look at it, address it, feel it, clear it, and then move back into balance. Thank you so much for joining me. If you appreciate my videos, please do give me a thumbs up, a like, and subscribe to my channel. I release a video every Tuesday and many Fridays. I appreciate you. I love you. Namaste.